What it is, it's your boy Dutch the Damon, and you now watching Damon Time with Dutch. On today's episode of Prison Stories Uncut, we over East Baltimore in them real trenches with it, man. But before I hop off in the storytelling mode, I want to send a big shout out. Ryan Beasley. His brother sent his hard-earned money in, blessed the channel through the Cash App. Appreciate you, brother. Ryan Beasley. Definitely ain't gonna let you down. Just stay locked in, pimp. I got us. Now that we got that out the way, let's get it. Man, so Ava ran up in the police station. They takes her in the interrogation room. She get to telling them the whole story. The detective tape recorded the whole story as she ran it down. Then he get up and leave about the room for about 20-25 minutes. The whole time he was gone, she was in there crying her heart out in disbelief of what just happened. Her big sister was gone. In the blink of an eye, her whole life changed. Just the thought of never seeing Kia again just crushed her. When the detective came back in the room, he passes her some Kleenex and get to telling her, like, letting her know officers had already responded to the scene and the suspect was eliminated. Plus, he confirmed that Jarrell did die on the scene and Kia died in the ambulance. Ava just shook her head as the tears flowed. Her best friend, her sister, gone. And the saddest part about it, all 6 of them children ain't got no mother or no father now. She was gonna have to be their mother. In a split second, she done went from having 1 kid to having 7 children. But she knew what she had to do. But anyway, the officer tell her, like, man, we know this gonna be hard for you in your time of grief, but we're gonna need you to come down to the morgue and identify your sister. We're trying to get in contact with members of the male's victim's family to identify him. She just shook her head in agreement. She asked them, can she make a phone call? She need to call her husband, who was at home with all the children. They slide her the phone and leave out the room. So when Lonnie answered the phone, he could hear the pain in his wife's voice. Just hearing Lonnie's voice, she get to breaking down. So confused, she like, babe, what's going on? She get to running it down to him. By the time she was finished, he was just standing there with the phone to his ear in pure shock. He didn't really care too much for Jarrell. The kid was like a sister to him. The kids had known Lonnie all their life. He always been around. Because him and Ava was high school sweethearts. So Ava tell him on the phone, like, look, Lonnie, I'm gonna need you to break the news to the kids. With her voice trembling. She like, I'm gonna need you to break the news to the kids. I just ain't got the heart to do it. With the shit that I just seen, I need time. So Lonnie like, damn, you want me to tell him? She was like, please do that for me. She like, all right, baby, I got it. He tells her he love her. They gonna get through this. Everything gonna be okay. Then they hang up the phone. She slides the phone back to the detectives. He tell her come with him. When they stepped out the precinct, Jack Frost was nipping at her nose. Snow flurries had begun to fall. With tears stuck to her face, she get in the back of the police car. But anyway, when they get down the morgue, they go in the building, take her down some hallways and turn into this room. In that room, it was a cold metal table with a body and a sheet on top of it. The detective telling Ava, like, I know this is gonna be tough, but I'm here with you. He walks up to the top of the body, pulls back the sheet, down to the neck level. And when Ava saw Kia laid there with her eyes open, lifeless, that shit sent a shockwave through her body. Tears just started running uncontrollably. The detective asked her, was that Kia? She wiped her eyes and just nodded her head, yes. They left out the room, he gave her some documents to fill out, and just like that, that was it. The detective takes her back to the police station. And in this little room, all the gifts that Jarrell and Kia had purchased were sitting in that room with blood on the bags. She went in the room, took all the gifts out the plastic bags that had the blood on them and asked the police for a trash bag to put them all in. They give her a trash bag and help her carry the bag out to the car and put them in the trunk for her. When she got in the car and started that engine, grief just overcame her. As she pulled away from the police station, the memories of her and Kia grow up ran through her mind. Their first time dealing with boys, the first time they ever got their periods, just all the things they experienced in life together. It's all gone now. She had been to the police station and down the morgue for hours, and it was now nightfall in the city. Ava drove from east to west to south with no destination, just driving, crying, and thinking. Prolonging the moment she had to look her nieces and nephews in the eyes. Getting low on gas, Ava, it's time to go home. She jumped on 695 and started making her way out Rosedale, Baltimore County. When she pulled up at the house, she parked the car, put her hand on the cross on her neck, and she said a prayer. And she asked God to give her the strength. She kissed her cross, got out the car, started grabbing the bags out the trunk. Unable to fight the tears, she just let them roll. It had already gotten late. So when she came through the front door, all the kids had already cried themselves to sleep. But when she walked in the living room, her husband Lonnie was sitting by the fireplace with a sad look on his face. No sooner as he seen his wife, he jumped up. She dropped the bags and they just hugged each other tight. She get to asking about the kids. He tell her like, man, they taking it hard. Cry their eyes out. They just went to sleep like 20 minutes ago. Ava like, thank God. She just kept saying, damn, kid. Damn. So Lonnie like, man, this is crazy. Where the kids gonna go? That's when Ava get to wiping her eyes like, they ain't going nowhere. They staying right here with me. I don't trust nobody with my sister kids. They staying right here with me. And when Lonnie looked in her eyes, he knew she meant business. And by that being his wife, that means he got a additional 6 kids now to go along with the one they already got together. But if it was going to make Ava happy, then so be it. He would jump out of a plane for Ava. So whatever she was with, he was with. So Lonnie looked down at the bags on the floor. He's like, well, what's that? She shake her head like, these the presents their parents bought for them. Then she started dumping them out the bag, putting them under the Christmas tree along with her son gifts. So after Ava neatly placed all the gifts under the tree, Lonnie went in the kitchen and made them both cups of hot chocolate. They snuggled up next to each other on the floor by the fire. Ava laid her head on Lonnie's shoulder and cried her heart out. All through the night, they talked about needing and getting a bigger house for the kids, funeral arrangements for Kia and Jarrell, how they gonna survive with the jobs and employment they have at the moment. It was just a lot on their plate at one time. But anyway, Ava fell asleep in Lonnie's arms as the sun rise. He kissed her on the forehead. She opens her eyes. He tells her, Merry Christmas, baby. Meanwhile, over East Baltimore, as the sun rose on Christmas Day, Bubbles had just put the blunt out in the ashtray. Dried up tears on her face. She could hear Lil Chuck waking up, getting out of bed. This was the first Christmas since her and Big Chucky met back in the day that they was going to have to spend without him. She had explained the story to Lil Chucky, basically telling him his dad died in a car accident, leaving out all the other extra shit. And his dad was his hero, so that crushed him. And it hurt her to see him cry like that. So much so that she just stayed up all night smoking blunt after blunt, not getting no higher than she did off the first blunt. Chain smoking, stressing. But anyway, Lil Chucky come walking in the living room half asleep. Bubble cracks a smile and tells him, Merry Christmas, baby. He tells her, Merry Christmas, Ma. He went over to the tree and started opening his gifts. As he get the tan off the wrapping paper, Bubbles told him, everything you got came from your dad. Tears start building up in her eyes. Lil Chucky was like, I just wish he was here, Ma. When he opened one of the boxes, it was a PlayStation. Even though he was down, he managed to get a little excited about that. He rips it out the box, running his room and get to hooking it up to his TV. When she saw how happy that made him, she just put her hand on her heart and looked up to the sky. Said, thank you, Chuck. It's the best gift you could have ever gave me, my son. I love you. Thank you, Chuck. With her brother Quante dead and her other brother Ivory in jail, on top of Chuck being gone, it was just too much for one woman to handle. So when Ivory went down the precinct, they tricked him and locked him up when he got down there because Penelope next door neighbor, the one who called the police in the first place, told the detectives she saw Ivory shoot eyes on the front porch after she heard some shots going off in the house. So he booked for the murder of Eyes until his trial day started. So when she sat there on the couch and opened one of the gifts that Big Chuck had bought for her, she had an epiphany. All night long, all she was thinking about is how she can save her son from going down the wrong path and not turning out like his uncles and his father. So she decided to do something that she never in a million years thought she would even be interested in. She made a promise to herself that when the Christmas and New Year's holidays were over, her New Year's resolution, no more dancing in that strip club, no more smoking, drinking. She joined the police academy.